So, okay, we've got this recorded. Excellent, Ginny, thank you. We're going to get started with this webinar at about 1 minute past 11. So just allow some people to settle in, make sure they're in the right environment. Welcome for those of you who have been in our waiting room and are now making your way from the lobby into the live webinar environment. We will do formal introductions in a moment, but it's great that so many of you have signed up for our third live webinar this year. How are you all today, Lorenzo, Zara and Ginny?
Great, good to see you.
Lovely to see you as well. How did your pizza night go?
Delicious. I don't think Lorenzo approves of me putting chili on my pizza, but you know.
My Italian style still keeps me straight on the classics, but it's fine. And that place is quite actually good.
It's very good. Yeah, yummy.
Fantastic. Yeah. Right, so we are 1 minute past 11 and I'm going to dive in because we've got a jam-packed session today full of lots of content. So I hope everybody is ready. So hello and welcome to our live Fingo webinar, and we're really thrilled to have so many of you here. So this is part 2 of our 3-part series, which is all about understanding performance marketing. And this session is called the Digital Power Couple and the Messy Middle, Navigating the Marketing Funnel. So I'm sure all of you know me by now. I am Marissa Freeman, the Director of Client Success here at Fingo. And my role is to ensure that your digital strategies are developed in a way that meet your commercial needs and drive your business forward. I have 20 years of experience in brand, strategy and marketing, and I'm here to share valuable insights with you today.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Zara. I'm a paid search manager at Fingo. So I manage all things search from Google to Microsoft Ads and beyond. I've got about 16 years of experience in digital, and I have a very unique insight into how to best utilize all the stages of the sales funnel, how to harness the growing use of AI that's been introduced by the major marketing players. I love diving into analytics. I'm solution oriented, and finding these best solutions for our clients is one of my priorities.
And we have Ginny, our marketing executive, and she is here today as usual, manning the inbox, the chat box. So if you do have any technical issues, Ginny will be able to help you out in real time. Just so you're aware, your camera and microphone are switched off automatically. So if you do have anything to add or ask, use the chat box and we can address them, any questions, either in real time or at the very end. Lorenzo, our head of performance, is here with us today, and he's on hand to actually answer those questions in real time for you, because we did find that there were a lot of questions coming in during the last webinar. So we know that there's a lot of interaction back and forth. If we don't get time at the end, we will follow up via email and on our blog. So thank you, and let's get started. We're going to start by identifying who this webinar is ideal for. So this session is designed for marketing managers who are working with digital marketing agencies currently, any teams who have digital advertising campaigns that perhaps aren't meeting their expectations, any teams and organisations who are really hesitant about bringing in digital experts due to past experiences that perhaps didn't go very well, and any brands who already have internal digital teams who are seeking deeper insights so that they can equip and boost their delivery of the campaigns. The purpose of this webinar is to equip you with the understanding and language and knowledge to fully recognise how biddable advertising works, so that you can have informed conversations with your agency and think more strategically if you're managing your own campaigns.
Thanks so much for that, Marissa. So a quick question for our audiences. Was that your expectation? Did you manage to watch the first webinar? Do you require an overview of digital marketing? So please leave a comment in the chat if there are any other issues you're facing. This really helps us tailor our sessions to your needs.
So today we're going to look in much greater depth at the digital power couple and the messy middle. We're going to start with the funnel fundamentals and recap what we discussed last time. And then we're going to dive into the power pair, what it is, how it works, and how it can benefit you. We're going to do exactly the same with the messy middle, and there should be a nice amount of time for questions and answers. Just a quick note before we dive deeper into strategy today. Some of the terms and acronyms might go a little bit over your head, so don't worry. We have covered the basics of biddable advertising in part 1 of this series, which is currently available on on our blog, so make sure you check that out after the session for a clearer breakdown of any of the foundational concepts and techniques.
Great. So let's start by defining what a biddable campaign actually is. So biddable campaigns involve advertisers bidding in real time for online ad placements. This dynamic auction ensures that the highest bidder at any given moment gets the ad placement, providing instant access to potential customers.
Absolutely. So the biddable model extends across multiple platforms. It includes all of the expected major players, Google Ads, Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn ads, YouTube, Twitter, etc. Even specialized platforms use this bidding model, so Spotify, Reddit, Quora. And these platforms operate on the pay-per-click or pay-per-impression model, giving businesses flexibility to manage budgets really effectively and have transparency. But it's very important to note that biddable campaigns differ significantly from boosted posts, especially on social media. So biddable ads provide much more advanced targeting, optimization options, and bidding controls, whereas boosted posts are generally simpler and limited in terms of audience reach and performance insights.
So the primary benefits of a biddable campaign include attracting that right customer through precise targeting, driving significant traffic to your websites, and ultimately improving your sales. So this makes them one of the most effective forms of digital advertising for businesses of all sizes.
So let's have a really brief recap on the marketing funnel fundamentals. We introduced this concept in part 1 of the series, and you can access it on our blog at the end if you'd like to have more in-depth knowledge. So the marketing funnel is a framework that we use to visualize and understand the journey that a customer takes from the initial awareness of a brand or product to actually making a purchase decision. Many of our clients hear us talk about the marketing funnel a lot. The marketing funnel is, of course, relevant outside of digital marketing, but within digital marketing, we can use different platforms and bidding strategies to create a full funnel campaign. So there are sort of 3 to 4 stages, and they're often represented as awareness. So that's the broadest part of the funnel at the top, and it represents the initial contact with potential customers. This is where you attract a really wide range of people and audiences just simply to make them aware of your brand or product. We then narrow down into the consideration stage, where potential customers who are already aware of your brand, they consider your products or service as an option to fulfill their needs and weigh up their different options. Conversion is another further narrowing down, and it's where the audience takes action. So it's where they will then eventually make their purchase or sign up for a service. We do also have the loyalty, which is like the narrowest part of the funnel, and I usually represent it as a spout at the bottom. And it represents customers who have made a purchase with you and they continue to engage with your brand, potentially becoming repeat customers or even better brand advocates. In digital marketing, this concept is known as integrated marketing communication, ensuring all forms of communication and messages are carefully linked together, making sure that we create a seamless experience for consumers across various channels and platforms. We also use integrated marketing when we refer to any multi-channel or cross-channel campaigns. Regardless, each marketing effort has to work in harmony to complement the others, guiding the customer through the funnel stages effectively, or it's not integrated marketing, it's just marketing. There are no real strict rules about which marketing platforms should be used at each stage of the funnel. And I actually think the real power of a strong strategy lies in its flexibility, because we can, adapt things, break the mold, create tailored designs and approaches for each brand. But that said, of course, certain platforms consistently prove to be effective and lend themselves to different stages, leveraging their strengths to guide potential customers through the funnel.
Absolutely. So for driving awareness, we often focus on platforms that excel in things like video reach and demand generation. So platforms like YouTube and the Google Display Network. So these platforms offer broad audience reach, making them perfect for building brand recognition early in the buyer's journey. Similarly, platforms like Facebook and Instagram are great for generating video views and impressions, helping us visually engage users and increase recall at a pretty critical stage.
And then you'll see that we down to the consideration stage, and we can utilize demand generation and search on platforms like Google and Bing. And these platforms allow us to capture intent-based traffic, ensuring we engage users effectively searching for products and services related to our offerings. For interest-based targeting, platforms like Meta, Pinterest, and LinkedIn are very effective because these platforms allow us to target audiences based on their behaviours, interests, and demographic profiles, helping to drive engagement as users consider different options.
Great. And so when it comes to driving those actual conversions, Performance Max and search campaigns on Google, Bing, and Amazon help capture high intent users who are really ready to make that purchase. So these campaigns focus on maximizing conversion value by delivering ads to the people who are most likely to be a transaction. And finally, retargeting and shopping ads on platforms like Facebook and Instagram allow us to re-engage users who have already interacted with our website or products. And it pushes them kind of towards that final completion of a purchase.
An always on full funnel strategy allows you to meet any customers, no matter where they are in the path to purchase. So it's always a really important element of what we recommend. There are always people at various stages of the purchase journey. So focusing on just one stage or one platform can miss out on creating or converting demand.
Right. So whilst we do often look at customer journeys in a linear fashion, it isn't always the case. So let's look at these scenarios. In the first scenario here, we see a customer journey that starts with brand awareness, quickly builds to loyalty, and then results in a conversion. This is common with aspirational brands. Let's think about a luxury car brand like Tesla. A consumer might first become aware of Tesla through media coverage, friends talking about it, or seeing Tesla on the road. Even before they are in a financial position to buy, they might follow the brand on social media, read reviews, watch YouTube videos about Tesla's features, and imagine themselves as an actual Tesla owner. So this aspirational engagement builds loyalty. So when the time comes that they're actually ready to convert, they're already emotionally committed to the brand long before they make the purchase. So this journey here is driven by aspiration and a desire to be associated with the brand's values and lifestyle.
We look at the second scenario, which is in the middle of the slide. We see a path where a consumer becomes aware, they convert, and then they cheat. So definitely not loyal because they explore other options. This is really common with e-commerce marketplaces like Amazon or Temu. A consumer might not be initially aware of a specific brand, but they do become aware through browsing for a specific product, say a Bluetooth speaker or a kitchen gadget. And they find a product with great reviews, a reasonable price, and fast shipping, so they decide to purchase, converting almost immediately after awareness. And they use the product for a while, but then the consumer might start looking for alternatives, and maybe because a friend recommended a different brand, or they see an ad for something else, or simply because they want to try something new. In this scenario, the loyalty isn't strong because the brand hasn't actually purchased that consumer, and the purchase was much more about convenience and the immediate need rather than a deep connection with the brand, and so they will go elsewhere.
Right, and so in our third scenario, the consumer journey starts with a conversion, which may seem counterintuitive. Again, this is commonly found on platforms like Amazon and Temu. So imagine a consumer is searching for a pretty inexpensive product like a phone case, and they make a quick purchase based on the price and convenience without really knowing or caring about the brand. It's only after they started using the product that they become aware of the brand. Maybe it's through the packaging, or they were sent a follow-up email, or there was a product insert in the packaging. So now that they're aware, they might start to consider the brand's other offerings. They may become brand loyal, or they might cheat. Maybe they try a competitor from another online marketplace or recommendation. Finally, they may come back to this brand and become loyal after realizing that the original brand's products are of good quality and offer better value. So this looping journey reflects how easy it is for consumers to switch between brands, especially when the initial purchase was made without any strong brand awareness or loyalty.
So let's look at the 7 touch points, or the always-on multi-channel touch points that we've seen born out of traditional marketing. So the concept originally of 7 touch points originated in the traditional marketing, and the idea was that consumers needed about 7 interactions with a brand before they were ready to make a purchase. And back then, these interactions were very linear. So unlike what we've just been talking about, maybe a customer saw a print ad, then they walked into a store, and then they made a purchase after a few follow-ups. Today, of course, we know that customer journeys are very complex, and the number of touch points has dramatically increased just due to the sheer variety of digital and offline channels available. Many businesses now report that customers might need an average of 20 to 50 touch points or even more before converting.
That's absolutely right. So in the digital age, consumers interact with the brand much more non-linear, or in a much more non-linear way. They think about this, a person will see an ad on YouTube, then they switch over to Instagram and see the brand again in a static picture. They flip to TikTok to see a retargeting ad, and then they head to Google to research the company or maybe do some competitor research, and then head back to Facebook and see another coupon or another offer. Head back to Google to find that company, and finally they purchase or fill out an inquiry form. What's also important to mention is that touch points are no longer just digital. Offline interactions like in-store visits and events still play a pretty big role in certain industries.
And of course, the other factor that's changed, particularly in digital, is all about personalization. So it's not just about having lots and lots of touch points. You have to make sure that every interaction is relevant and personalized to that customer.
Exactly, and we will dive deeper into how these touch points are used effectively when we talk about the power pair and all the strategies for the messy middle later on. These tactics aim to optimize customer engagement across higher volumes of touch points, making sure each interaction counts.
But before we dive into those strategies and any details of single platform strategies, let's first just establish that the gold standard in marketing is always multi-channel and integrated approach. This type of strategy ensures we're meeting the customers across multiple touch points and uses a blend of channels: search, social media, email, video, and display. Real world conditions like budget constraints, niche markets, or market conditions sometimes mean that we've had to adapt our strategies, and there will be times that we have to focus on a single platform or a single tactic and really limit our approach to address a very specific need for our client. And that doesn't mean that we're straying from best practice. It's simply about adapting to what's most effective given our client's circumstances, or your circumstances if you're listening here today and trying to design your own strategy. So we just wanted to preempt any concerns that what we're about to talk about is at odds with best practice. Multi-channel marketing, integrated marketing is a gold standard, and will show that even when focusing on fewer platforms, you can still drive exceptional results. So we're now going to look at how we could build an entire marketing funnel within a single platform marketing suite such as Google. Before we dive in, it's important to note that YouTube is a channel owned by Google and it's powered by Google, and it's within its marketing suite. So when we refer to YouTube, Gmail, Google Discover, and Search, we refer to them as channels, but we're referring to them within the full Google suite as a Google platform. We're going to use a real-life scenario to think through how a full funnel campaign could be executed on a single platform like Google. So imagine a young professional starting their home buyer journey. We could use YouTube video reach campaigns to build awareness by showing engaging videos about home ownership, tips and advice, and positioning a particular brand as the go-to source.
Right, so then the next stage is when they start to begin researching. So demand gen and video campaigns highlight specific neighborhoods, properties, and financing options, targeting those who are already considering their choices.
As their intent grows, we could shift to performance max, sometimes called PMax, so we could use those campaigns to deliver relevant content across Google Search, YouTube, and display, ensuring that our home buyer or potential home buyer sees listings, financing deals, and open house events where they are.
Right, and then finally, Google Search campaigns capture that high intent traffic, targeting buyers actively searching for homes or programs, guiding them to schedule a viewing or apply for a mortgage, and pushing them to that final conversion.
So we see here that using a single platform like Google for a full funnel campaign can offer some key benefits, including the sharing of first-party data for better targeting, transferring insights from one channel to another for optimization, and fluid budget allocation to focus spending where it's most effective. By saturating the platform before expanding to others, you can also ensure maximum efficiency and capture all available conversions at the lowest possible cost, minimizing opportunities for our competitors. Let's now look at how we'd build a full funnel campaign within a single platform on social media. Just to warn you, when we refer to Meta, we refer to it a lot. I'm sure you all know that Meta in this context is now Instagram and Facebook combined as a single channel. Meta can also extend to Quest, Messenger, and WhatsApp. So we're going to use Meta as an example, but of course we've got TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, etc. So Zara, just as we saw in paid search, how can this also work in paid social? Because I know that search pulls consumers in and then social pushes content out. So how would this work with a full funnel strategy in Meta?
Yeah, absolutely. That's completely correct. The social media funnel works pretty much exactly the same as search. So we have the same phases where we go from awareness with things like videos and reels to driving traffic, to traffic driving to the website, educating consumers about the product, and then we move to action where we're asking something from the consumer. And finally, we're at loyalty, ensuring that they keep coming back. The only difference is it's all within one platform. So you're mixing your ads with more casual content. And each social platform targets a slightly different audience.
Of course, so LinkedIn, you're targeting professionals, whereas with Pinterest, you might be targeting art lovers or stay-at-home mums. And I think Meta is probably the exception here because it seems to target anyone and everyone.
Absolutely, yeah, that's completely right. And although we have shown you examples for individual platforms to make it a little bit more digestible, it is important to remember, though, that the most effective marketing strategy, as we mentioned, is not just a full funnel, but also multi-channel.
Let's dive into the power couple. So initially, this was called the power pair. Google developed the concept, and it refers to the combination of performance max with broad match search campaigns. At Fingo, we developed this concept and called it the power couple to show how top and bottom funnel strategies can align for better results across multiple channels. So for example, Meta and Meta brand awareness with a Google search campaign.
Right, so let's look at the power pair represented as a funnel. Performance Max is a goal-based campaign that uses machine learning to optimize bids, targeting, and creative across Google's entire inventory. So that includes YouTube, that search, display, etc., driving conversions at scale. Broad match search expands your keyword targeting, showing ads on relevant searches, even if they don't exactly match the keyword, helping to capture really high intent users. So together, these strategies create a really powerful mix. Performance Max builds that awareness and consideration mid-funnel, while Broad Match captures those ready to convert users at the bottom.
And here you'll see the evolution of the power pair to the power couple represented also as a funnel. So we evolved, this into the power couple, and we now focus on leveraging top funnel awareness campaigns on Meta, for example, and then directly pairing them with bottom funnel action tactics like search. So the idea here would be to bypass the traditional consideration stage and create a more efficient funnel, moving users from awareness straight into action. And this is a streamlined approach. It can be really highly effective for some performance marketing campaigns, especially if time and resources are limited, but the goal is still to maximize conversions. Again, you can see what's really important and key to take away here is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to digital strategy, and we always tailor strategy to fit the needs of the product, the brand, our clients, their budget, the audience, market conditions, and of course, platform strengths and weaknesses.
Right, so let's take a closer look at the original power pair from Google. Performance Max campaigns have evolved quite a lot in the recent years. It's become pretty much a cornerstone for most e-commerce campaigns. So PMax simplifies marketing efforts by combining all of Google's channels, like I said, like YouTube, search, display, and more, into one single campaign. It also harnesses the power of AI to optimize for the best performing channel, scaling these results effortlessly. So if you're able to connect your PMax to your company's database or CRM, you can feed first-party data directly into Google's AI. making these campaigns even more effective by identifying the best potential conversion. So while it initially has gained sort of traction in e-commerce, it is now being expanded into other industries as well.
Yeah, and pairing PMax with more traditional search campaigns, particularly broad match search, has produced some really amazing results. We find that the synergy is powered by Google's AI, which allows for that maximum coverage across relevant search queries and keywords. So by combining, PMax's multi-channel reach, but then with the broad match expansive query matching, we've really noticed a decreased CPA, cost per acquisition, but increased conversions at the same time. And of course, with a boost in customer acquisition, this combination truly does capitalize on AI.
The challenge, however, does arise when you can't connect your CRM or your customer database. So the CRM connection is key because it leverages your first-party data, which then signals what a valuable conversion looks like to Google's AI, making the campaigns far more precise. So what can we do if you can't integrate your CRM? That's where demand gen campaigns come in.
So while demand gens may not be as powerful as PMax when it comes to optimization, it's a great alternative in the absence of CRM integrations. It can help expand your reach and ensure maximum coverage across Google's networks, enabling you to still drive results even without that first-party data advantage. So let's dive into Google Demand Gen, which serves as a solid alternative when you can't integrate your CRM. Demand Gen focuses on top-of-funnel engagement, which means it's targeting potential customers who may not be actively searching for your product yet, but if they're a good fit for your brand, it will still capture them. And it's an important tool for driving that brand awareness and then taking them and moving them into the consideration phase. Demand Gen primarily utilizes Google's display networks and YouTube to reach people through highly visual, engaging formats. Think of it as planting a seed in the minds of potential customers, helping to introduce them to your offering early in their journey. One of the best parts about Demand Gen is that it doesn't require that CRM integration, so it's really accessible for businesses that don't have first-party data but still want to use AI. The AI uses signals like user behavior, interests to find the right audience and engage you with those potential customers without any data whatsoever from your own system. And lastly, Demand Gen is great for expanding that reach. If you want to scale your campaigns and attract new audiences, you can do just that with this approach, especially if it's just that bit too soon for you to think about, CRM integration.
Right, so here's a question we get quite a lot. If we are already running a Performance Max campaign, what value does broad match actually add? So this is something that can be quite confusing, especially when they both use AI, but their roles are pretty distinct. So
yeah, we do get a lot, so we can break it down a little bit. Broad match covers a wide range of search queries, and it uses signals like user behavior and natural language processing to capture relevant searches, even if they don't exactly match your keywords. So that means it expands your reach to queries that you might not have anticipated, but are still really actually highly relevant to your business, even if your team hasn't thought of them yet. On the other hand, PMax works very similar to dynamic search ads, DSAs, which we talked about in our previous webinar. So in a nutshell, DSAs focus on matching queries with the themes of your website content, whilst PMax follows a similar strategy. And it's important to the content that's able to match on your site or page, but much more powerful complement to broad match because it helps ensure that your ads are just as relevant as possible when users show that high intent. And to clarify, broad match acts as a superset covering a much wider set of queries, whilst PMax helps fine-tune your campaigns by matching queries to specific themes within your website content, creating a more targeted experience. So I hope that helps sum it up.
Great. And so just a note, the power pair is actually currently something that's only really found in search ads, so Google and Bing and ads like that. There isn't a direct equivalent in social media platforms yet, which works slightly differently. That said, as we've mentioned earlier, combining strategies across different channels is always a good idea. A strong multi-channel marketing approach ensures that you are reaching users wherever they are in that journey. So that's why Bingo has developed the Power Couple.
So why is match so effective. Oh, I think I might have no, we are on the right slide. Thank you for that, Ginny. So why is broad match so effective? Well, the answer lies in the power of AI, which we've talked a lot about, which has now become the driving force behind today's digital marketing strategies. Just so you also know that phrase match is actually being phased out, and that's largely because AI has become so sophisticated that broad match can actually handle its functions and more. So if you do have any phrase match established, or you're thinking about relying on a strategy that encompasses that, be aware it will be phased out.
So looking at exact match and broad match, so exact match has its values for very specific targeting, and broad match goes further by using more signals to find that right person to target. Exact match and broad match both use keywords and predictive performance, but broad match takes it to the next level. It leverages additional signals like landing pages, keywords, and sort of a user's previous search behavior, even their location. So the combination allows broad match not only to target more accurately, but also reach users with a higher intent, ensuring that your ads are seen by the right person at the right time.
So in essence, match creates a seamless connection between a person's online behavior and the information a company is putting out through its ads and landing pages. It's very holistic, using multiple signals that allows AI to match the user at the most relevant ad, driving performance with greater accuracy. I mean, it's extremely powerful. We've seen great things with it. So let's have a moment to acknowledge and discuss smart bidding. How does smart bidding fit into the power couple? Because I thought it was just all about performance max and broad match, Sarah.
Very good question. No, that is true. You're absolutely right. So here's how it all ties together, I think. So the power couple focuses on targeting specifically. So broad match finds the right search queries, whilst performance max delivers across the channel. So smart bidding ensures that our ads are being served in the most efficient way. It taps into Google's AI again to set the best bids at auction times, meaning your ads being shown at the most effective price for your high intent users. And this AI-driven bidding loops real-time data back into the system, constantly improving the efficiency and effectiveness of the campaign.
Great explanation, Zara, thank you. So as the slide mentions, smart bidding uses Google AI to optimize for either conversions or conversion value in every single auction. So when you combine smart bidding with the power pair, performance max and broad match, you'll see a boost in conversions, a decrease in CPA, and an increase in your return on ad spend, which we call ROAS, and is a very significant and important marker for measuring campaign success.
Right, so why should our clients care? How does this ultimately help them?
Well, the answer is simple, because it will deliver better and stronger results across the board. So with the strategies we've just discussed, clients can expect improved performance with more conversions for a lower cost per acquisition and much more return for their ad spend. Not only will they save time by automating keyword management, but they'll also increase efficiency by only paying for keywords that truly actually perform. There's little wastage. Additionally, they'll be able to expand their reach, identify new high-value search queries, and increase their relevance score, ensuring that their ads match the intent of each search. This combination of all of these little things combine to deliver really strong outcomes for any business looking to optimize their digital marketing. And here's how they work together. You'll capture the leads who are already searching for you, and you'll find incremental leads beyond search at that lower CPA.
Exactly. You are able to power up your performance, power up your pipeline by finding leads across Google's inventory. And with smart bidding, you are able to power up your messaging.
Oh, that sounds very powerful. So we know that Performance Max works to boost conversions by expanding reach and narrowing down the most relevant audiences. But that's not its only advantage, is it?
No, it definitely isn't. So one of the most powerful aspects of the power couple strategy, or the power pair strategy, the PMAX and broad match, is how well it can address what's often referred to as the messy middle. So the messy middle is a stage in the consumer's journey where users are stuck between consideration and decision making. It's a phase where they are exploring multiple options, they're researching products, they're comparing prices, and they're reading reviews before finally making a purchase. This phase it often feels very chaotic from a marketing perspective because users are bouncing between multiple touch points. But with the right combination of PMax and Broadmatch, we can keep engaging with these potential customers during this crucial time, guiding them back to the brand. PMax helps us cast a really wide net to keep our products visible while refining the audience and using the AI-powered signals to continuously optimize for engagement. Broadmatch complements this by pulling in relevant searches that can re-engage people who are in that research phase, making sure that they see our ads at that right moment.
That's right. So by addressing the messy middle with this sort of power pair strategy, we can still then boost conversions because we're staying visible to those potential customers who are still deciding, and we keep re-engaging with them at key moments to keep our brand top of mind. So earlier we talked a lot about that consideration phase, it's chaos. And as we said, this is the stage where people are no longer completely new to your brand, but not quite ready to make that purchase. But why is it called messy?
So as previously mentioned, it's messy because of the behavior of that potential customer at the stage. It's all a bit chaotic, a bit manic. So they're exploring all their options, switching between all of the multiple brands, as I mentioned, comparing these products and services. They're scrolling through social media posts. They're word of mouth. They're asking questions. They're trying to figure out which is the best sort of option for them. So during this time, they're in a constant loop of exploration and evaluation, going back and forth between researching and comparing. So this is where ads become especially powerful. So like I mentioned earlier, the consumer generally needs to encounter around 7 touch points. As we mentioned, it's more than that now, but before they make that final purchase. And a large number of these happen during that messy middle funnel stage. So here they'll be on multiple platforms, really trying to understand your brand and whether it's the right fit for them.
And, you know, I would say for brands out there who are only relying on digital advertising, when it comes to the nurturing and also post loyalty, but also in the consideration phase, there's a lot you can also be doing to support your advertising efforts that you should be doing. So, you know, testimonials, case studies, webinars, they can be used you know, via advertising, but also there's a lot that you can be doing organically, email nurturing, that kind of thing. So there's a lot that we can be doing to supplement advertising without a budget needed, and to help your audience move closer to making their decision as well.
Right, so the messy middle actually presents a huge opportunity for reaching customers. 46% of consumers are actively searching in this phase. So this is where they're exploring and evaluating all their options. And they are open to influence from brands that can provide the right information at the right time.
Yeah, and so that's what we're talking about. I know we keep sort of repeating this, but it's so important that we're tapping into that potential by nurturing the audience at this stage. It's really overlooked. We see it all the time, and many of our clients, you know, they know all about brand awareness, they know all about conversions, but they don't really put enough effort, thought, or energy in budget into this mid funnel stage. But actually, it can have a massive influence on that final purchase decision, as we will go on to see in some of our case studies. By engaging with consumers in this phase, it will significantly improve outcomes.
So during the middle consideration phase, social media posts actually let us reach users where they spend their time. So we offering personalized content as they compare options and read reviews and seek sort of that validation.
I agree. So social media is a real key, you know, platform and channel for building trust during the messy middle. Things like retargeting ads to re-engage users who've shown interest but need more information. Platforms like Instagram and LinkedIn allow us to use rich formats, video, carousel ads to educate and influence their decision making, in combination, of course, with things like Google Discover, which is a vital tool.
Absolutely. So social media's interactive features like polls and quizzes actually really foster super positive brand engagement and loyalty. So on LinkedIn and on LinkedIn, you know, we can share thought leadership content like case studies to really help B2B audiences weigh up their options.
And cross-platform becomes key here when it comes to using social media, because of course a user might first interact on Instagram and then discover or encounter even a more tailored ad on TikTok, helping push them towards that conversion. And then when you add the reinforcement of Google's Discover, it can be a pivotal step in the evaluation phase.
Yeah, exactly. So in that messy middle, users are overwhelmed with options, right? So social media really helps us to deliver the right content, again, like we said, at the right time, guiding these users on this journey and really nurturing that relationship with them without being too pushy. It's good option.
Not being too pushy.
Yeah.
So we're just going to, recap about the main benefits of investing in the messy middle. Just a brief recap. We'll be effectively influencing customers during this phase. It will absolutely boost the conversion bottom funnel rates, and inevitably they will increase. You're obviously also able to solidify your brand presence, ensuring that you stay top of mind during the decision-making process. Not only that, you can tailor make your marketing and use much more informed data, because we'd have accumulated a lot more data by this stage. So now we can understand how your audiences behave, craft messages that resonate more deeply, and really give you that significant competitive edge, especially as many brands are, especially your competitors, often overlooking this critical stage. Providing the right information at the right time to build trust with your audience, and of course make them more likely to choose your brand.
Exactly. And so the messy middle, it may sound like a complicated concept, but when handled correctly, it can actually drive really significant improvements in your overall campaign and its performance. The key is staying present and guiding the customers through their journey, which it will lead to some really nice long-term gains.
Let's look at some real-life case studies of clients and brands that we have helped using different elements of the strategies that we've just talked about.
Right, so we have the decorative fair, which we applied a full funnel multi-channel strategy for the decorative fair. We supported their online marketplace launch whilst also promoting their live fairs. So our approach here blended biddable ads, SEO and website development to build this lovely brand presence and drive high conversion traffic. We started off using Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, for brand awareness, and then reaching to reach a really nice broad audience and building this excitement for their upcoming event. Campaign uplifts around key dates also, like ticket sales, kept that engagement really strong.
We used YouTube for the consideration phase to drive traffic, targeting users who had already interacted with the brand over to the website. So the videos showcase both the marketplace and the fairs to encourage visits and exploration. At the conversion stage, we managed Google PPC. Actually, Zara, you managed Google PPC. You delivered the campaign very, very well. And we actually ran those campaigns for both the online shop and the live fairs. We targeted high intent users, ensuring there was no overlap, and complemented that broader strategy. And we focused on driving purchases and ticket bookings, aligning PPC efforts with the fair's goals and ensuring that the campaigns did not compete with one another.
Yeah, exactly. And what made the strategy effective was its alignment across the funnel, so covering the entire journey, all the way from awareness down to that conversion phase. And this approach maximized performance for both the online marketplace and its live event.
Well done, Zara. You did a great job. So let's have a little look at how the Power Pair strategy helped transform Corney & Barrow, who are a well-established UK wine retailer. Before the pandemic, they were heavily reliant on their physical retail locations and private client wine trading, serving a discerning clientele. However, with the pandemic forcing a shift to online sales, they needed to completely rethink their marketing approach.
So Fingo worked really closely with Corney & Barrow to revolutionize their digital marketing strategy, building it pretty much from the ground up. So prior to this, their digital presence was very minimal. We introduced a tailored Performance Max PMax campaign specifically designed for their e-commerce needs. Our strategy included audience segmentation and day parting, ensuring that we were reaching that right customer at the right time with the relevant messaging. So we grouped audiences based on purchase behavior and location, while the day parting helped optimize spend across the most effective periods throughout the month. It was crucial, actually, especially given the sudden shift in online wine sales at that time.
We combined performance max with search campaigns to create a holistic strategy that supported Cornwall Borough's e-commerce goals. This not only did definitely boost brand awareness, but also captured high intent search traffic and ultimately drove increased order values and volumes of sales. And given their premium wine offerings, this strategy emphasised brand, search, shopping objectives to drive revenue whilst expanding their reach to attract new audiences, new high value customers who previously would have only been served through traditional channels.
Yeah, and then
What
through...
about lead generation for, sorry, Zara, I think I cut you off there.
No, that's okay. Carry on, no problem.
Thanks, Ginny, for that. So what about lead generation campaigns and power couple strategies or power pair strategies for, you know, non-e-commerce industries? Can it be just as effective for generating leads?
Absolutely, it can. So this is a great example here of this luxury real estate developer whose main objective was to increase the number of qualified leads. So once we connected their CRM system or their customer database, and activated their performance max campaigns to complement the existing search campaigns, the results spoke for themselves. So it's important to note that PMax needs some time to collect and process the data from the databases. But once enough data was gathered, the targeting became much more refined across all campaigns. It led to a 172% increase in qualified leads, which is a significant improvement in the quality of the prospects. The PMax campaign also expanded where our ads were shown, so increasing our audience pool whilst pulling in more relevant leads. So this is reflected in a 300% increase in engagement. It's a clear sign here that our strategy was effective at reaching and engaging that right audience.
So by implementing that sophisticated Performance Max campaign and integrating it with the client CRM, we were able to utilise, you know, the AI-driven insights and utilise the power pair approach and leverage advanced targeting techniques. So we can see that it can work very, very powerfully in that luxury real estate sector as well.
Definitely. So yeah, our strategy focused on that advanced technology to reach specific high value prospects, showing our ads at the optimal time and on those right channels, which increased the effectiveness and the relevancy of each interaction. And ultimately it boosted the lead generation across the generating that success for that real estate developer. So.
Thank you, Zara, for that. Now, I think this is the first this year in our webinars because we have plenty of time for Q&As. Usually we've delivered so much that we're running out of time by the time we move on to this. So I will ask Ginny if we've had any questions in the chat box from anybody at all.
We have, yeah, we've had a question in from Charlie. With the emphasis on AI-driven campaigns like PMax, how do we ensure that we're not losing the human touch in our marketing efforts?
Well, good question. So we've talked a lot about AI today and how powerful they are. We know that AI-driven campaigns like those, you know, powered by PMax are designed to basically handle the heavy lifting in terms of data processing and optimization. But the human element, of course, remains crucial. So your role as the marketing lead is to provide, you know, the creative direction, messaging, the overall strategy that resonates with your audience. AI doesn't understand your audience better than you do. It doesn't understand your brand better than you do. And it doesn't understand some of the nuances and the tricks and tactics, plus the experience that, you know, digital agencies like ourselves have operating and managing these campaigns in real time. So of course AI can optimize the delivery, but it's going to be up to you and us to ensure that the content is compelling and aligns with your brand values. And I'd say moreover, you know, regular monitoring and adjustment based on the insights provided by the tools ensure that we can stay connected to our audience's evolving needs. You know, they give us that information, they give us those recommendations, but ultimately we make that final decision. We optimize our campaigns very, very regularly. We try not to do it more often than every 3 weeks. It's just so that we can sort of allow that machine to learn and adapt to what we've asked it to do. But we're often in there tinkering about, and it's not sort of automatic that we will always follow the advice of the platform, because ultimately we tend to know better.
We have had another question in from Claire. If a campaign is underperforming, how do you determine whether the issue lies in the strategy, the creative, or the platform?
Oh, right. It's excellent question. It's basically what I do every day. So, if something is underperforming, that's, obviously a problem for us, and we want to investigate it and find out what's actually causing that underperformance. So, we take a very systematic approach when it comes to diagnosing what has caused a campaign to underperform. So we will kind of dig into the data as much as possible, and we will look across kind of every stage of an ad being created and to the entire user journey as well. So we take a really systematic approach when we diagnose these underperforming campaigns. We will review the data from where it started to drop off. So we will kind of spread the time out, maybe look at a 3 to 6 month period, and then start to figure out exactly at what point did we start to see drop-offs, and try and figure out sort of that core root point. And from there, we have to look at a multitude of different things. So, for example, we'll look at, is it in the engagement side of things? Is it the conversion side of things? Like, where exactly are we seeing this underperformance? If it's engagement that seems to be low, if our click-through rates are low, if our, CPC is high, maybe there's something wrong with our creative or our messaging. Maybe we haven't targeted the right sorts of people. Like, maybe our keywords, there's something wrong with our keywords. We'll investigate into our keywords and figure out where, if it's too narrow or it's too broad. We then, if it's then more of a conversion issue, and like we're seeing an okay or a decent sort of click-through rate to people's websites, but the conversions are very low, potentially there's something within the landing pages that need to be addressed. Maybe the form needs a little bit of support with looking at more, maybe it's too complicated, the form, or maybe it's not got enough data, or maybe it's, whatever it might be. Maybe the page itself doesn't have enough data, and so people haven't got enough to make a decision. So we kind of look at all these different aspects and try and figure out exactly what's going on. And then sometimes minimal tweaks, sort of adjusting targeting or updating a creative, actually shows massive improvements. I think the key thing to remember in all campaigns, and what we kind of rely on mostly, is that we're constantly testing. So it's very much a test and learn approach for us. So, we'll do constant A/B testing to try and find that sweet spot where we're getting really good engagement, really good conversions, high quality, and then we can kind of continue that on until, if and when we need to make more adjustments or more updates. But we try and find that sweet spot, by constant testing.
Thank you, Zara. I love hearing you speak about it, I guess, because of course we often have performance meetings with clients, and I know how passionate you are, but also how skilled you are. So you're talking from very real, recent live experience. It's
Definitely. Yeah.
And we have had one last question in from David. With the growing importance of first-party data, how should companies approach collecting and utilizing this data to improve campaign performance?
Shall I maybe use this one, because I feel like this is one of those questions that we keep getting in performance meeting with clients, and actually something that we try to tackle internally and with our clients every day, because as you all know, first-party data is becoming more valuable as privacy regulation applies, and obviously, as you know, third-party cookies are phased out or are changing anyway their way to work. So really, I'd say the first thing to be done is to ensure that data collection methods are transparent and obviously complying with privacy laws. That's really important. The second thing would be to use first-party data to build detailed customer profiles and use that for informed targeting and personalizations in strategies, because that is, again, really relevant. As we discussed during the presentation, I would also integrate the CRM with the marketing platforms, for example, with Google, with Bing, and any other available. This will help refining audience segmentations and obviously improving performance and ad relevance. So this is really, really important as well. And then ultimately, I would say that I would continuously analyze and update the data to keep campaigns aligned with evolving behaviors and preferences, and mainly to ensure that those platforms will have enough new data every day or every period to ensure that we are leveraging what the technology is offering us rather than just sticking on our knowledge and our skills.
Thank you, Lorenzo. That's so helpful. And I hope that answers everything. We did have a comment from Antonia, who just sort of expressed the fact that they'd missed the first session. So we will be sending out a link to that first session to everybody in an email. Ginny will do that shortly. So fear not, you're going to get all of that information. Are those all the questions we've had? Ginny?
They are all the questions, yeah.
Well, that brings us to a really lovely close. You've got about 4 minutes. If you guys have any meetings next, that gives you just enough time to make a coffee or have a tea. Thank you so much for attending today. We hope you found it valuable. We will be releasing the details of our next webinar real soon, which will be chapter 3 in this series. And it's been amazing to have you all on board. So take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.